What happens after we take our final breath? Is it simply the end? Or is there a deeper, more mysterious transition beyond what we can comprehend? Does the soul dissolve into nothingness? Or does it travel through realms that our minds can barely grasp? Welcome, dear traveler, to a journey into the heart of one of the most profound mysteries of existence. Today, we explore a spiritual text that offers us insight into this great unknown, the Bardo Thodol, more commonly known in the West as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. This text isn't just a spiritual guide, it's a profound exploration of life, death, and everything that happens in between. It is a reflection on the ultimate cycle of existence that every one of us must face, whether we choose to or not. Imagine, if you will, a guide that accompanies you at the very threshold of life and death, helping you navigate the deepest and most enigmatic moments of existence. This is the role of the Bardo Thodol. It isn't simply a book about dying. It's a roadmap for what happens to the soul after it departs the physical realm. It's a guide to spiritual liberation, offering profound insights into the mysteries that follow death. Together, we will cross through this portal, explore its wisdom, and perhaps understand more deeply what it truly means to exist. The Bardo Thodol was created by Padmasambhava, a figure who holds a nearly mythical status in Tibetan Buddhism. Born in India, Padmasambhava is credited with bringing Buddhism to Tibet in the 8th century. He is honored by Tibetans as Guru Rinpoche, or the precious master, for his deep spiritual knowledge. But Padmasambhava was more than just a monk. He was an extraordinary yogi, an enlightened spiritual master who was known for his mystical abilities. His teachings, including the Bardo Thodol, were born from a desire to guide not only the living, but also the dead, offering a spiritual path toward liberation even after the final breath is taken. From a young age, Padmasambhava demonstrated extraordinary mystical powers. He was recognized as a Mahasiddha, someone who has attained an advanced level of spiritual realization, capable of performing what might appear to be miraculous feats. His reputation as a profound yogi spread widely. Padmasambhava's mission brought him to Tibet, where he was invited by King Trisong Detsen, who wanted to solidify Buddhism as the dominant faith of the region. At the time, Tibet was a land deeply rooted in the Bon religion, which included shamanic rituals and animistic beliefs. These indigenous spiritual practices were woven into the fabric of Tibetan culture, and it was no easy feat to introduce Buddhism to a people who had so deeply rooted their beliefs in the Bon tradition. Upon arriving in Tibet, Padmasambhava faced fierce resistance from the local spirits and deities of the Bon tradition, who were opposed to the spread of Buddhism. Using his knowledge of magic, tantra, and esoteric rituals, Padmasambhava was able to tame these spirits and integrate them into the Buddhist framework. This blending of Bon deities and practices with Buddhist teachings was essential to establishing a lasting spiritual foundation in Tibet. Without it, the teachings of Buddhism might not have taken root as deeply as they did. Padmasambhava went on to establish the first Buddhist monastery in Tibet, the Sami Monastery, and began transmitting profound teachings about the mind, the nature of reality, and the cycle of existence, known as samsara. In Tibetan Buddhism, death is not seen as the end, but rather as a moment of transition, a chance to achieve spiritual liberation. This perspective views death not as the end of the journey, but rather as a gateway to uncovering profound truths about life and existence. Padmasambhava recognized that at the moment of death, the mind enters a unique state, free from the distractions of the physical body. In this state, it becomes more receptive to the ultimate truth, the nature of reality itself. He saw this as an extraordinary opportunity for liberation, but he also understood that most people, when they die, are consumed by illusions, fear, and attachment, which prevent them from recognizing this potential. His mission, therefore, was to create a guide that could be recited by those accompanying the dying or even studied in life, so that the mind would be prepared for the bardos, the intermediate states between death and rebirth. In essence, Padmasambhava's goal was to help the soul avoid suffering and open the doors to enlightenment, even in the face of uncertainty and dissolution. The compassion that underlies the Bardo Thodol is its most profound feature. This guide provides a path to clarity, assisting those who are prepared to awaken during their final moments. Every soul must pass through 3 distinct stages in the Bardo Thodol after death. If the soul can recognize the truth in each moment, these stages offer critical opportunities for liberation. The Chikhai Bardo, the moment of death. The first stage is the Chikhai Bardo, the moment of death itself. In this phase, the soul experiences the dissolution of the physical body and the freedom of consciousness from its material constraints. When the dissolution is complete, the soul stands before the primordial clear light, a dazzling pure light representing reality's ultimate nature. This light is described in the Bardo Thodol as immense, radiant, and beyond human comprehension. This clear light is the very essence of existence, pure awareness, free from form, and filled with immense potential for liberation. But the vast majority of souls, unprepared for this experience, fail to recognize it. Instead, they are overwhelmed by their attachments and fears and move on to the next phase. The Chönyid Bardo, the Bardo of reality. The second stage is the Chönyid Bardo, the Bardo of reality. Here, the soul encounters a series of visions, often dreamlike and symbolic. These visions are reflections of the soul's karma, emotions, and thoughts. Some visions are peaceful, inviting the soul to move toward liberation, while others are terrifying and chaotic, feeding the soul's fears and attachments. This phase is another opportunity for liberation. If the soul can recognize that these visions are projections of its mind, it may escape the cycle of confusion and attachment. But many souls fail to see this and mistake these visions for external realities, becoming trapped in fear and illusion. The Sidpa Bardo. The Bardo of becoming the final stage is the Sidpa Bardo, the Bardo of becoming. In this phase, the soul is drawn by karmic forces toward a new life, as it is unable to achieve liberation in the earlier stages. The soul moves through tunnels of light and energy, guided toward parents and circumstances that resonate with its karma. The Bardo Thodol describes this stage as a journey that leads to rebirth, where the soul enters the cycle of samsara once again. At this stage, Padmasambhava's teachings encourage the soul to remain aware and mindful, even as it is drawn toward new circumstances. The soul may still have the opportunity to choose a favorable rebirth, or perhaps even to break free from the endless cycle of samsara altogether. The Bardo Thodol offers an important perspective on death, one that can be transformative and liberating. It teaches us that death is not the end, but a continuation of the spiritual journey. It encourages us to confront our fears, to prepare for the inevitable, and to realize that even in the face of death, liberation is possible. In today's world, where the topic of death is often avoided or feared, the Bardo Thodol offers a refreshing perspective, reminding us that the process of dying is not to be feared. It is a profound opportunity to awaken, transcend the limitations of the physical body, and explore deeper truths about existence. As we close this exploration of the Bardo Thodol, let us carry its wisdom with us. Life is precious, but so too is death. Every moment, even the final one, carries the potential for spiritual awakening. Whether you view the Bardo Thodol as a spiritual guide or as a metaphor for the human experience, its teachings remain relevant and powerful to this day. The text calls us to embrace courage, awareness, and ultimately, liberation, regardless of the uncertainties we face in life and death. Thank you for walking this path with us. May you move forward in your journey with wisdom and compassion, both in this life and beyond.